Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Jumping right in, we're doing a review on the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Blurring Powder Foundation. I keep hearing rave reviews about this, and you guys know how much I love foundation. So I want to test this out for you guys, and I haven't done a powder foundation, I don't think, on my channel, a full review on that. So I'm really excited to try this one out. And I got the shade Y355, which is neutral beige, which I tend to be a neutral beige or a natural beige, somewhere in the beige family. I tried this out yesterday just for the color and it was slightly light. It might be a little bit better for me today though, because my self-tan is wearing off a little bit, but this is good for most days for me. If you're similar to my coloring, this color is good more often than not. So I could have went a little bit darker if I was freshly tan, but more often than not, I'm going to be Y355. Every time I see someone apply this to their skin, I am amazed because it seriously looks like it's blurring everything out on their skin like a real life Facetune. If you saw my mid-year favorites, I've been really into my Maybelline Superstay 16-Hour Wear Powder Foundation, and I wanted to try this one out too. I've been really loving powder foundation, super light on the skin for summertime. It doesn't feel like you're wearing anything heavy like a liquid. So without further ado, let's get this on my skin. So we need to put on our concealer first. Any kind of cream product you want to do first. I'm going to quickly do my concealer and all that stuff off camera, come back, and then we'll be ready and prepared to use this powder on the face. I have you zoomed in. You can fully see my skin texture, my pores, and this will give you the best idea of how this applies on the skin. I really wanted you guys up close for this and see how it truly looks like. I do have normal to slightly dry skin, so for me in powder, I'm always a little bit hesitant that it's going to look dry on me. But this texture of the powder is unlike other powders that I have tried. It's very velvety as it says, and it just glides on more like a cream. It's so interesting when you see the sponge pick up the product. It just looks different than a traditional powder. They do have a sponge in here which you can use to achieve various levels of coverage. The white side you can use for a lighter coverage, and the black side you can use for a full coverage. And I actually don't care for the black side, which is full coverage, and I do like a full coverage look. I actually prefer this really velvety white side, which is kind of like those sponges that you may have seen that have that velvet texture to it. It feels exactly like that. I find if you just use that and gradually build it up, it looks a little bit better than going straight in with the full coverage side, which can look a little bit patchy in my experience. So I'm going to be using only this side and then gradually building it up. It does take a little bit longer, but I think the finish is more beautiful that way. And you can also use your own brush if that's what you prefer, but I want to show you this in action, just what they provide. So I'm just going to take a little bit on the sponge and I'm going to show you see that still is a good amount of coverage. So we're going to be matching my face to my body. Still not my perfect shade, but you can see how blurring that is. And it goes on so smoothly and evenly. So beautiful. I'm just going to do the one side first so you guys can see. That is just one light layer of the powder. You can't see the texture on this side of my face compared to right here. It definitely looks more blurred. Now I'm just going to build this up to more coverage so you can really see the difference between the sides. I also find the powder does look slightly ashy at first, which could mean that it's too light for me. And also I find just in general the powders, upon watching other people, that when you spray it with a little bit of Fix Plus or some kind of hydrating mist, then it brings the foundation back to life. So it can look a little bit dead at first, but you'll see after a little bit of spray how it brings that back to life. I made that line there so you can really tell the difference. So you can really build up that coverage. It's pretty insane. See, the sponge is looking a little bit caked down there. That texture, I'm actually gonna wash this after I'm done for you guys and see how it washes. So that's full coverage. That's one light layer. You can still see my freckles. So there is the powder on the skin. It feels so lightweight, like I'm wearing nothing at all. And it definitely looks perfected. I'm looking a little bit gray. So we're going to just do a nice light spray and then finish off the rest of the makeup and see how it's looking. After a little bit of bronzer, it matches me a little bit better. The color isn't too bad because I do tend to do light in the center of my face, but with the bronzer, it's gonna bring it all back to life. Already with a little bit of spray, you can see the color come back to my skin. Yeah, it's pretty perfect now. I'm back. I just finished off the rest of my face. Took a little flash test to see if there's any flashback. I didn't notice anything. It still looks a little bit light compared to the rest of my body, but it does in person, so it's not doing anything extra on camera, which is good. Sometimes with powders, you don't know if you're gonna get a little bit of a white cast to it. This one is completely fine for me, and it feels super lightweight on the skin, even though it looks very full coverage on my skin, like it's a liquid foundation, liquid full coverage. It does not feel like that. Super perfecting, very blurring, I find, to my skin. I think it looks incredible. In terms of its lasting ability, I'm gonna show you guys throughout the day how long it wears. On me yesterday, I noticed a little bit of separation right here on my chin, which tends to be my problem area. So I'm gonna see if that happens again today. What is great about this foundation, though, it is super convenient for touch-up, so it wouldn't be so much of an issue if I just needed to press out that area of my skin. Really easy to correct with this kind of compact in a mirror. It'd be perfect for on the go. So if you do need a touch-up by chance, great little compact for that. Retails for $50 Canadian, and it also claims to be water resistant, which is good for summer. Feels incredible on the skin. Doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything at all, which is really, really nice. And I don't want to touch it too much because it's going to affect the wear if I keep touching my face, but it claims to be 12 hours. So we're going to see how long it wears throughout the day on me today. I will do some check-ins throughout the day to show you how it's wearing, and then we will wrap it up at the end of the video with my final thoughts. I'm back. I'm a little worse for wear. I was just at the splash pad with my kids. Thankfully, this is water resistant, but I was wearing sunglasses and I always get those marks. So right now, this is the point where I would touch up. So I wanted to show you guys 6-hour mark, just how everything is looking, which is holding up nicely. I'm not having any of the separation on my chin like I did yesterday. I just have the issue on my nose, and I'm looking a little bit glowy, which I do not mind at all. It is very hot outside today, so I'm just going to touch up here. It's not as bad as a liquid. Liquid, it looks more indented, at least on me, compared to the powder issue on my nose. And then everything else is just a little bit shiny. I'm just not going to add any extra product, just kind of tap out that excess shine. And we're good to go. My hair is not. My face is. Even for just 6 hours, I absolutely love how it's looking on my skin. And it's so easy to touch up. I could have done that outside, but I wanted to show you guys on camera just any kind of issues that I would have, which I always get that regardless. If you have a way to fix that with your sunglasses, please let me know, because I get that every single time. That was considerably easier to fix than a liquid foundation. I'm just absolutely loving it for summer. It's been so, so good. I'm gonna continue to wear the foundation for the rest of my day and check back in at the very end of the night to tell you how it's held up. And you can see how it will have lasted from this point on with the little touch up that I did. I just added product here to correct that and then tapped out the rest of my face, and all is well. I am back to close out this video. The foundation has been on a total of 12 hours. As you can see, I am quite shiny, but nothing has broke apart on me, and I don't look powdery at all. I swear the powder just melted in with my skin, and it doesn't look powdery whatsoever. You can definitely see, just because I'm so shiny, the texture that I do have on my skin, and my larger pores, especially here, it's more noticeable, which I'm not going to add any more product to the sponge. I'm just going to pat that out like I did earlier. I just patted out my T-zone so that it's not shiny in that area. I don't mind if my cheeks are glowing because that's my dry area. It tends to be right here. So if that has a little bit of a glow, I'm golden. It looks perfect again to me. This is honestly the easiest touch-up foundation product. I'm blown away by it. It's so good because I'm very particular about powders, and normally with a powder I like to just set my face with it, and I don't often use powders alone as a foundation because they can look a little bit dry, sometimes a little bit heavy, and this doesn't look like any of that. It doesn't look heavy, doesn't feel heavy, doesn't look powdery or dry, anything like that. It sit beautifully on my skin. It didn't separate on my chin like it did the other day. I'm not sure why it did it that day. Today it performed perfectly. Like, I can't say any bad thing about it today and how it performed for me. The only downside for me with this foundation is that I do find the shades a little bit tricky to match. My liquid and stick foundation from Makeup Forever doesn't correlate with this shade, and I heard that some people said you need to go a little bit lower in this because it tends to go darker, and I think I'm darker in this than in the liquid and stick. I'll have to double check. And my shade specifically is exclusive to online, which I also do not care for. I feel like this is a product that would be best if you went in store to find your perfect shade, because I feel like even with the undertones and the shade selection, you might not pick your right shade right off the bat by ordering online, and it would be best to go in store for it. But some of the shades are exclusive only to online, which is really unfortunate for the product because I really think you need to go in store for this one. But it worked out for me. This is the first shade that I chose, and I'm probably going to go back and get a darker shade as well. But this, I feel like over the course of the day, it actually started to match me even better. So when my own natural oil started to come into play with this foundation, it just ended up looking even better on my skin and more natural. So I am very happy with this. If you couldn't already tell, I was happy yesterday, even though I had a couple more concerns about it. Today it performed perfectly for me, and the only issue I do have is the color selection online and having to go in store. I feel like with this, I would like to go in store for it. Personal preference for me, I just think it would be easier for this kind of product. Normally I'm okay online, but for this specifically, since it's such a full coverage powder, it can get to that. You really need to kind of be spot on with your color match so it doesn't look so off, because you can build it up to such a full coverage. So that is everything, I think, for this foundation review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a long day. I've lost 2 nails over the course of the day. I've had a day. Today it tends to be for my foundation days that it's a very long day. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Let me know if you have picked up this powder foundation or if you plan to in the future. It wins for me. I absolutely love it, and I definitely want to test this side by side with my Maybelline because I love that one too, though this formula I can already tell is super unique compared to that one. So I think both are worthwhile, but I would definitely check out this because it's a very unique powder formula. And even if you're dry skin, I would still check it out. It's good for all skin types, it says. And since I'm normal to dry and I tend to be dry in my cheek area, it doesn't look dry at all. And I'm so happy with it. So that's it. I could go on and on forever about it. I had such a good experience with it and definitely recommend it. That's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell if you want to be notified of my future uploads you don't want to miss. And I will see you guys in my next video. Oh yeah, I need to wash this sponge. I knew I was going to use it at the end of the day. It doesn't look all caked up anymore. I think it was just pushed down. The fibers on it, it doesn't look so bad, but we're still gonna wash it. I'll be right back. Sponge is washed. Show you the hand that has its nail still. So I just washed the sponge. You can see it's expanded. The 2 different materials, the black side has soaked up water, so it has expanded and kind of made it a funky shape. So it just needs to dry down. I can insert a photo of it dried down, but it washed fine. And I'm sure it's going to dry fine. I just wanted to show you guys that it looks better now. Not that I thought it wasn't going to, but in case you're curious, if you're going to carry this around for touch-ups and stuff, it's good to wash your sponges. And that's officially the end. So I'll see you guys later.